You folks have been divorced for a long time. How many years?
30, approximately.
And sadly, your son was killed in an automobile accident when he was in his 30s.
Yes.
How old was he? 30?
There's 36.
And according to your complaint, Ms. Davison, your former husband agreed to pay for half of your son's funeral expenses.
That's correct.
And then he reneged on that agreement and, according to him, gave you $1,000 towards the expenses. Is that right?
Yes.
He has a defense that is interesting. So why don't you tell me about the arrangements that you started to make for your son and how your former husband was involved?
Well, at the time that I received word that my son had passed, and we went to the funeral home to make the arrangements for the burial, it was agreed on that we would go 50-50 on the funeral expenses.
Well, according to these papers, let me stop you for a moment.
Sure.
You agreed in the funeral director's office that each of you would be responsible for half the bill. But then, according to these papers, the funeral director said that since your son was married, you had no right legally to make the arrangements because even though you're his parents, you were not his next of kin. His wife had to approve the agreement. Is that right? There was another meeting with the funeral director.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Your Honor.
And who was present at that meeting?
His wife, my ex's wife.
That's you.
Yes, ma'am. And myself.
You weren't there.
No, I was not.
Why weren't you there?
I was working.
Okay, so you sent your wife
So
in
I
your
sent
stead.
my wife to represent me.
Fine. And what happened at that meeting?
Well, at that meeting is when the Mrs. Davison, Sue Davison, and Tammy and I went in to review the casket that we had picked out. Then Sue Davison said that we should change it to a wooden box, that her father was buried in a pine box, and why couldn't we bury it? And I told her that she needed to bug off. That's just my words. Because that was my son. I carried him 9 months, and she had nothing to say or do with my funeral arrangements that was being made. Because Tammy financially was not able to take care of the expensive. And it was between my ex and myself.
So what happened?
So after a few choice words with Mrs. Davison, Sue Davison, she said that she would give Tammy $1,000, and Tammy was to do with that whatever she wanted to do with it. And so Tammy, in terms, handed it over to the mortician, and that was applied to the funeral expenses.
Is that pretty much the story, sir?
So far, yes.
And how much were the expenses in total?
I don't have exact total, but Mr. Davison's share would be $23,59.67.
Now, does that include the $1,000 that he gave you?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Your Honor.
So you've given him credit for that.
Yes,
so that
sir.
the funeral was
Approximately $6,000.
$6,500, $6,600.